Hey everybody, so let's answer a question that I get asked on a regular basis. So what do employers look for when they want to hire developers? So instead of from the point of view that you see typically on YouTube of people who actually have had a job, I'm going to give you the point of view of somebody who's been hiring developers since the 1990s. So I've hired many developers over the years, and I'll tell you what I look for and what people I know who've hired developers look for. So first and foremost, you walk in that door, you better be dressed fairly well. Don't dress in a suit and tie, because developers don't wear a suit and ties, but dress clean clothes, good clothes. Don't smell. You smell, you got larger problems than getting a web designer job. So you want to make sure that you look presentable, clean shirt, clean pants, clean shoes, etc., etc. So that's the first thing. The person walks in, I look at the way they're dressed. Even if it's an unconscious thing, my lizard brain's going to be looking at this going, well, if this guy can't even dress properly, is he going to write good code? The next thing I look at is their interpersonal skill. Can they speak well? Can they listen? Do they listen? Do they respond to questions? Do they understand what I'm saying? Can they communicate? Because at the end of the day, when you're working at a company, you're working at a company meaning many people. You have company, meaning you got to be able to interact and communicate with other people. So even if you're an amazing coder, if you cannot speak or listen to people and have a little empathy for other people, and you can't speak concisely, get to the point, be nice about it, don't be a jerk. If you cannot communicate well, nobody's going to want to work with you. Piece of advice I got from one of my mentors way back in the day, maybe 150 years ago. He said to me, I'd rather have a competent employee who is easy to get along with, who communicates well, than a hotshot genius who nobody likes. The hotshot genius will be a waste of money and time, and you're going to have to get rid of them sooner or later. So keep that in mind. Don't be the hotshot loser genius nobody wants to talk to, nobody can communicate with. Be the competent developer who people can communicate with, you listen to, you write concisely, you speak concisely to people, but not terse. Meaning you don't want to be a jerk about it, you want to be mindful of people's feelings. Here's the thing that I had difficulty with for many years. Developers tend to be more analytical than the average person. A lot of developers tend to be a little less sensitive to people's emotions. At the end of the day, most of our decision making is based on emotions. Most of the reasons why people are going to want to hire you or work with you or are going to like you is because of how they emotionally react to you. Even if you write the best code ever, if you're an they're not going to want to deal with you. Oops. I'm going to have to edit that swearing out. If you are a jerk, you're going to not be liked and people won't want to work with you. Okay, so number one, I look at the way you dress properly. Number two, I look at how you interact with people. Are you easy to get along with, etc.? Number three, your resume. When you write your resume, you build your resume, be sure that the resume is tailored towards the particular job that you're going after. If you were trying to get a job at a game studio, listing all your web skills at the top of the resume is kind of silly, unless they're looking for a web developer. You list the skill sets at the top, you prioritize those skill sets given the type of job you're looking for. If, on the other hand, you're going to work for a web development shop, then you want to list those skills at the top, right? Also, make sure that you do have a website with links to whatever work you've done in the past. Even the stuff, especially the stuff, if you have no experience, you've done while you've done your training, whether you're training with Studio Web or you went to Harvard or wherever else you happen to go to. Make sure that you have the projects accessible to people, whether it be your website project, your apps you created, etc., your GitHub repos. Make sure that this information is there, and make sure that whatever skill sets that you put in front of the employers, make sure that these skill sets align with what the employers are looking for. So that brings me to my next step. You, as you're looking for work, as you're preparing your resumes for each particular employer, you have to do a little research on the company. Find out what they do. Find out what stacks they use, meaning what technologies they use. See what you can learn about the internals of the company so that you can communicate with them with that interview. You know, if you find out that the founder came up with JavaScript and Node, or he came up in this area or whatever, make sure that you understand these things. You understand the culture, you understand the technology stacks that they're invested in, right? So as I suggested, you should have skill sets that are aligned with the job, and you should be able to demonstrate those skill sets. The best way to demonstrate those skill sets is through projects that you've done previously. So if you find that they've done a lot of Node work, make sure you have some Node, even simple Node projects that you can demo for them, right? Of course, if you got them, you put your degree on your resume. Make sure you show what kind of training you've done, or certifications as well. It all helps. As I said, reputation, which is derived from your work experience, projects that you can show, whatever level of education you have, and whatever certifications you have. Make sure, again, that they are aligned with the particular type of job you're going for. So for example, if you're going for a Node job, maybe it might make sense to get certifications in JavaScript, maybe ES6, maybe a simple Node certificate, something recent, so that you can show, hey, look, you know, I'm making an effort to be up to date in this stuff. As a developer, you have to understand that you're always going to have to be learning, especially in the first few years. Don't worry. As you learn more and more and more, it gets easier and easier and easier and easier. It's not like it's super hard all the time. But the point is you just want to show somebody who you're working with that you're open to learning new things, you're open to doing new things. Finally, what you should do is make sure that in the code base that you demonstrate, in what you do, make sure you can demonstrate that you have good coding best practices built into how you work. All these things that I talk about and teach in my courses and in these vlogs as well. This will come out in conversation. Be sure to ask them questions in the interview. You know, so they look over your resume, they see that you have nice shoes on, you don't smell, they see that you can communicate and so forth. But ask them questions about the projects. You might open up, say, okay, I checked out your company, I saw what you need. Could you give me an idea what version of this do you use, or what libraries do you use? Show that you're willing to learn what they do. Show that you're willing to do what it takes in terms of development, in terms of learning new tech, but they're going to need to get their job done. These are the things I look for really in terms of good people. I layered it in the order in which, you know, I see. Make sure that your resume is short and sweet. Don't write a long story. Also, don't put your hobbies like I play magic and I like to skateboard and stuff like that. You know, it's like, if you're going to do that, it's like way at the bottom, you know, it's like one line, 2 lines. That's it. People don't care. They don't really care too much 90% of the time. Make sure you structure your resume. Don't forget that for the employer at hand. Make sure you put it at the top. And remember, these people are looking at all kinds of resumes. They don't have time to read paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs, right? Make sure you keep it short and sweet, short and sweet. All right, I hope this helps. And I hope you guys can hear this because I'm recording this outside. All right, bye-bye.